You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
In 1994, a group of strangers who grew up in Leeds met in a chance encounter at a cafe in New York and decided to form a band. The following year, they released their debut album with the massive single In the Meantime. The song has been used in countless TV shows and movies, and while the band's heavy 60s Britpop inspiration stood out in the sea of alternative rock and grunge, they never reached the same level of success and slowly faded off into obscurity. This week, I'm joined by my Another Cheetah bandmate, Matt Jurcevich, to decide if Spacehog deserved to be remembered as a one-hit wonder to the all of you, or if there's a lot more worth checking out in the meantime. One hit is all you need to make the money guaranteed, and you can live off royalties forever. And it makes you wonder, is it just a blunder, or is it one hit thunder?
So, Spacehog in the meantime.
Mm-hmm. Good song.
That's a good jam.
I liked it. I remember the first time I ever heard it. I was over my grandma's house. I guess it was 96 when it came out.
I think 95 it came out, but maybe you heard it. I don't know exactly when it hit or whatever.
Yeah, my grandma was a big Spacehog fan.
Yeah.
No, she was the only one that had cable because I lived in the middle of nowhere, so I watched it on MTV, and I was like, oh, this is a sweet rock and roll jam.
Yeah.
I like this a lot.
That bass line, man.
Oh, it's sick.
That bass line is sick.
That's a solid song all the way around. Yeah, that bass line, speaking of that, the singer is playing that bass line while he's singing the song.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
Throughout it, but he's singing something totally differently, like Rick James style.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't understand how people do that, is what I'm saying. Is they can play something completely different
Right.
and sing something completely different at the same time. I'm jealous of those people, actually.
You just gotta. I think like I have a few songs like that where I can do that, but it's only when you've played it so many times that you're not even thinking about what you're playing,
Right.
And you could just focus on the singing aspect of it. But it's still impressive. It's still cool to see. The thing. The first time I remember hearing that song, didn't even know what it was. I just remember like hearing it and being like, "Ooh, what is that?" It was. So I guess it must have been late in 1995 that song was, so the New Year's thing on MTV was coming up.
Okay.
And that was like in the commercials for the, whatever, their New Year's show or whatever. And I don't even know if Spacehog played on it. I think I just definitely remember them playing that clip of that in the commercial for it. And me just hearing that ooh part and being like, oh, what is that? That's really good. The other thing I was going to bring up, and when you think back on, memories kind of become jumbled or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that New Year's, like when I had first heard that song, was a New Year's that we went to, that you and I were probably both at a party at Uncle Old Guy's.
Oh, yeah, we were at Uncle Old Guy's house.
There was a guy. It was a friend of ours, her uncle. We didn't know what his name was.
Was really old.
Yeah, he was old. Yeah. He was Uncle Old Guy, and we could go there and have a party, and we could drink because he was like not there, or he was old or something. Yeah. And so
he came down and was old every so often, but then went back up and was old upstairs.
Uncle Old Guy. So I always think of Uncle Old Guy when I think of Spacehog. Yeah, man. So were you a Spacehog fan at all at the time, or did you just know the song?
Well, I mean, I wanted to be, but I mean, that's why we're talking about it, because they didn't really have much going on after it. But I really appreciated all the nuances of the song, and I mean, we talked about the bass and the oohs, but the guitar's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
the little plicky plucky thing at the beginning of it. And, that's awesome.
It's got a lot of
It's got a lot of rock and roll in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. We're trying to, when I listened, I knew that song and I never dove in any deeper on Spacehog. I do remember liking that. Like I said, I remember liking that song, but at that time in my life, I was like punk rock music and that's it. If it wasn't on Fat Records or Epitaph or something, or I feel like that was also like maybe I was into ska a lot.
Yeah, you were super into ska at that time, man.
But
it was ska or die for you.
Yeah, but still, I did like that. But I didn't dive any further deeper into Spacehog. But it seems like from listening to their other music, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Like pretty interesting, and tried some things there. When I listen to those songs, they sound a little theatrical to me.
Yeah. I feel like they were going for some type of outer worldly theme, with the whole thing.
Like a hog from space.
Yeah, like pigs from space, like on the Muppet Show.
Right.
Yeah.
And now, pigs in space!
In case anybody ever remembers pigs from space on the Muppet Show, but
well, so what's crazy is this. So that song was from 1995.
okay.
But the band formed in 1994.
Oh yeah, he was messing. His brother, the singer's Royston Langdon. Let's call him Roy.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll call him Roy. Roy's brother plays rhythm guitar, right? I think so.
Yeah.
So those two dudes were messing around and then ran into some other dudes, and then next year they had a hit song that was everywhere.
That's
pretty sick.
Yeah, that's like not fair. So you guys just like literally formed a band and then like that was it.
Hey, you guys want to have a huge video on MTV? Sure, why not?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Well, it says that so not the singer, but his brother met the drummer Johnny Cragg in a cafe where Cragg had a job killing rats. Like that can't be.
Wait, isn't that an episode of It's Always Sunny?
It sounds like it.
Sounds like they got a little inspiration from Spacehog on that show. Yeah. Killing rats.
Yeah. They bonded over both being from Leeds, and then they quickly signed to Sire Records. How does...
I don't know.
Oh,
man.
you guys are British guys, and you live in New York City. You're signed,
and your hair is blown out and awesome.
Yeah,
you got a deal. Yeah,
but that album went gold.
Well, I mean, it's an awesome song, and I understand why it went gold. And I would love to see some footage of them playing like a concert or something like that.
I just don't understand. Like, regardless of how good a song is, especially in 1994 or 95, before everyone had the internet and songs could you can have something catch on if it's that good or if you have that good of a music video. But so basically these guys just knew the right person who was able to push the right buttons and get it in front of people. And then people were like, oh, that's catchy.
Yeah.
And that's it. They have a hit.
That sounds about right. When did the singer married Liv Tyler.
Right. Yeah.
So how fast after they got signed did he marry Liv Tyler?
Yeah. So the dude was basically, so the story was the guy was killing rats, met another guy from England, started a band, went straight to the top of the charts.
Yep.
And a guy married Liv Tyler.
And then married the hottest lady of the time.
And then,
yeah, because she was just breaking out in the Aerosmith videos at the time.
Right.
She was super hot stuff that year.
Where her father was using his daughter's sexiness to sell records.
Oh, I forgot about that awkwardness of those videos.
Well,
I didn't know that for a while. And then she was in 2 videos doing that same type of stuff. And then in the second one, I learned that was actually his daughter, and it kind of made it better for me. Just joking.
Well, what's crazy is maybe that Steven Tyler didn't even know that Liv Tyler was his daughter until later, because Todd Rundgren raised her.
Yep.
Because he thought that was his daughter.
Right.
because his
Bebe Bill, is that her mom's name?
yeah. The mom was dating Todd Rundgren, but then at some point, while dating Todd Rundgren, had sex with Steven Tyler, got pregnant, had Liv Tyler, told Todd Rundgren, "This is your daughter." and
Psych.
and then Todd Rundgren raised her until she probably one day went, "Wait a second, I look a lot like Steven Tyler." and
Todd Rundgren is an incredible musician and singer. Yeah, he looks nothing like Liv Tyler. I'm not going to insult the man. I love his music, but yeah.
But
he's a really nice guy for just being like, oh, well, it's fine. Let's just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah,
you know. And I guess she just thinks of Todd as her dad.
Yeah. But then at some point, Liv Tyler heard this song in the meantime and was like, "Damn, that's a good song." And then she's like, "I don't think I'm going to marry that guy for a couple of years at least." I think they maybe had a kid. It's the singer, right? It's the bassist, the singer.
Yeah. With her mom, I clicked on her Wikipedia, and she dated Mick Jagger, David Bowie, Jimmy Page, Todd Rundgren, Steven Tyler, and somebody else I'm not thinking of, and I can't understand why I'm not thinking of, because they're also like a mammoth rock and roll star.
Jeez.
Like, she dated all of those guys.
Wow.
And she was in Centerfold.
Yeah.
Yep. Makes sense.
Wow.
It's all coming together now.
That's crazy. It would be awesome if Liv Tyler was just a combination of all those guys.
That's all her dads. It's her dad list.
Like I said, I was a little too punk for him at the time, but they seemed like a pretty cool band. They were kind of like, we were talking a little bit before this episode about how they were a little bit like post grunge, like so
like a mix between grunge and glam.
Yeah,
glunge.
Yeah, they were a little.
Yeah.
They were a little.
Glange.
I feel like influences of like Queen and like Matt had said Bowie or something like that.
There's definite Bowie in there.
In there, they definitely have a song called Spacehog.
Yep.
I'm standing on the launch pad. I'm looking at the stars. I'm waiting for the countdown to begin. I'm not sure where I'm going. No, I've no way of knowing when the signal comes. If I thought 3, 2, 1, yeah, baby, I'm Spacehog.
Which I guess if you've only been a band for 1 year and you are instantaneously signed or whatever, you're like, okay, well, let's.
Why not? And what's the album called that's off?
In the Meantime.
Oh, it's called.
No.
No,
It's not. In the Meantime. Oh, it's called Resident Alien.
Resident Alien, that's it. And then they have an album called The Hoggassy or something like that. So this sounds like they have a sense of humor.
Yeah. My buddy Jim, who we might get a clip from him for this episode, was such a big Spacehog fan that he got a vanity plate that said Spacehog.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
As I told him we were doing this episode, and I could tell he was like, "Oh man."
Can you fit all the letters?
I don't know if he left the letter out. He'll have to tell us. But he was. I think he was maybe living in North Carolina at the time. I don't know if those. But I think maybe you can do 8.
Maybe North Carolina.
What letter would you?
Allows you to do more.
What letter would you leave out if you had to leave one?
Oh.
Spacehog.
Yeah. Spacehog.
Spacehog.
Yeah. It'd be Spacehog.
Yeah.
Or Spaceho.
I'm looking at like what? Yeah, Spacehog. So in the meantime, that song hit number 32 on the U.S. charts and number 1 on the modern rock charts. I mean, number 32. It's actually. I mean, number 1 on rock charts, but number 32. That's actually like a humble hit.
Yeah.
For being considered a hit, but I would take it.
I mean, that video was on all the time, though.
I don't really remember the video.
I do. It's all right. So it's shot in typical '90s style. It goes out of focus and then comes into focus on everybody with a little bit of shakiness or something, or it's a little off kilter. And then there's a whole bunch of disenfranchised 90s youth along the wall looking completely disenfranchised with their nose rings and everything.
Okay, yeah.
And not really caring about what's going on.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
You know, it's just like, you know, that's how it was supposed to be. You just hung out against the wall with your nose ring and just went, I'm better than this.
Right. Exactly. We were kind of looking beforehand to see what was going on in the world of music, like when this came out, because like in another episode, like the Tom Cochrane episode, for example, we looked at like, I'm like, oh, Tom Cochrane, that song was terrible. But then you looked at like what was out, and it was like Rico Suave and
Ricky Martin.
No,
that was early.
That was
90s.
Gerardo.
Yeah.
But my point being that like when you look at what else was out, then you put it in perspective and be like, okay, well, it wasn't that bad, I guess.
King of Wishful Thinking was out at that time.
It's Tom Cochrane.
No, that was Go West. That's it. Yeah.
Was out at the same time as Spacehog?
No, with Tom Cochrane.
Oh. Well, if that's the case,
Yeah.
then Tom Cochrane is terrible. Because that song is incredible.
I love that song. You guys, we should talk about that one too.
Yeah.
Sometime.
I mean, we could really say whatever we want here, but that is a really great song.
Yeah, it is. It's terrific. I love it.
So anyway, Spacehog. After that, they had a follow-up album. The follow-up single, which I don't even know what it's called, reached number 29 on the modern rock charts.
Was it Cruel to Be Kind, or was that on the same album?
I don't know.
I think that might have been their follow-up-ish, kind of made a little bit of an impact type of song.
Yeah, they had an album called The Chinese Album, which was next album, and it had a minor hit with Mungo City.
Where was that a minor hit at?
I don't know. In Mungo City, I'm assuming.
It was a Siberian hit.
Yeah. And then their final album, The Hoggassy, was released in 2001, featuring minor hits I Want to Live and At Least I Got Laid.
That kind of goes out of their space traveling, peace bringing motif. Well, maybe it doesn't. You know, if everybody gets laid, then you're going to be a little bit more peaceful, at least for a half an hour afterwards, right?
Yeah. The band reunited in 2008 for some shows. But then in 2010, their guitarist appeared in... did you see the Joaquin Phoenix I'm Still Here movie? Do you know what it is?
Yeah, it's like... Oh, I like saw like bits and pieces of it when it first came out or something. I wasn't real into it. But isn't the singer in that and he like poops or something?
Yes, like on him.
Oh yeah, like on things and him.
Yeah.
And whenever I was reading up on some stuff, I was just like, oh, that I don't want to watch that.
The thing about and I was having a conversation last night with our producer Matt, who we were talking about Joker. I haven't seen Joker.
I haven't either. I want to. Probably gonna see it tomorrow.
Yeah, I want to. But we were saying, but then he brought up a point which I never thought about. He's like, I'm not sure how I feel about Joaquin Phoenix. It's because it's like, what is he in that? Why do you like him? What is he in that you like really like?
That I really
or
like?
Yeah, just in general.
Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah. First of all, do you like Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, I like Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I like
think
him
he's
too.
Pretty good. I first started noticing him in Gladiator. We played that pale, slimy, like Caesar type character. I thought he was pretty good in that. I mean, he has a hateable face and plays a bad guy pretty well. And I really hated him in that movie. But I mean, that means you're a good actor if that's how you feel and that's what you're going for. You don't really like Joaquin?
No, I like him, and my instantaneous thing is like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'm Joaquin Phoenix. But then when Matt asked me, well, what do you like? And then I was like, and then I had to like look at his Wikipedia. I'm like, well, I like Walk the Line.
Oh yeah, I think he did a great job singing in that too.
Yeah, he was good in that, and I liked Her.
Yeah, Her was really good. That was innovative. In 2015,
but I felt like
that came out. Yeah, that was cool.
That was Spike Jonze. Spike Jonze did that, right? Yeah. Or Gondry. I don't know. One of those two did that. One of those two really awesome directors who did a lot of awesome music videos in the 90s did that. I think it doesn't. We'll get a fact check on that. But that being said, I like Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I think you know how Joaquin Phoenix does a whole bunch of like, I still think this, and people think I'm crazy, but he does just like weird stuff like all the time, and he's like artistic and stuff. I swear, in a band I was in a while ago, that we played a show where Joaquin Phoenix was the singer. And I swear, I was like, I was to the other guys in my band, I was like, tell me that isn't Joaquin Phoenix. And they were like, I mean, he looks just like him, but it's, you know, we're in Pittsburgh. I'm like, well, these guys aren't from Pittsburgh. And he's like, and they had a really generic name. And I actually walked up to him. I was like, prove to me you're not Joaquin Phoenix. And he pulled out his license, and his name was like Joe Smith or something like that. And I was like, you're not convincing me. You're Joaquin Phoenix. He's like, think what you want, man. I was like, I think you are. And I just left it at that. But I swear to you, it was just him like messing around with a band for a little while. I could not understand why it wasn't him.
Wow. Brush with fame.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Possible.
Do you remember a couple weeks ago when, so in the 90s, Joaquin's brother, River Phoenix,
one handsome man,
he made like an hour-long video of him talking to Flea about playing bass, and not just about playing bass in general, very specific about like how to move your right hand when you're playing bass, how to move your left hand. Well, so what do you do with your right hand there? Like
if
very,
you're
very
explaining
specific
to an alien how to play bass.
And River Phoenix sat there very intent, watching, very interested. I thought it was great. Yeah. I posted it on Facebook.
I watched it. I thought it was pretty cool. It's nice that those Phoenix boys were all into the arts and finding out about what's going on out there in all different aspects of acting and music and everything.
Right.
Although River's band wasn't that great, but he was still
what band?
still
River
rocking
Phoenix.
Was that is that why after he died then they changed it to Phoenix?
Yeah,
Phoenix
I think.
DX?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Yeah, that's how it happened.
Hi, this is Krista Makes, host of Krista Makes a Podcast. The theme of the podcast is songwriting. Each week, my musical guest picks a defining song from their career to discuss, critique, and analyze during the show. So please join me for some fun and insight into some of the greatest songs ever written and recorded. Listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com.
What's up, everybody? I am Finn McKenty, host of the Punk Rock NBA podcast, part of the Sound Talent Media Podcast Network. My podcast is all about doing what you love for a living, and every week I sit down and talk to people who have done exactly that. For example, musicians like Tommy from Between the Buried and Me, Matt from Periphery, Lil Lotus and Shinigami, among many others, photographers, artists, designers, YouTubers like Glenn Fricker and Sarah Dici, and I unpack exactly how they got to where they are today with the goal of helping you do the same. So if that sounds cool, you can listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com, and I'll see you there.
I love this Phoenix Brothers podcast.
Yeah.
We were talking about Spacehog.
We were talking about Spacehog. But Spacehog's just connected to so many different things because of that one song that we just get, start going off on a tangent.
There's not much really more to say about Spacehog. The story of Spacehog is they started a band. Within like a week, they were signed, had a huge hit. Married Liv Tyler. They got divorced. The band released a couple other albums, broke up.
Yeah.
Dude shit on Joaquin Phoenix in a movie.
Yep. He totally shit on him.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? If somebody summed up my life like that, I'd be content with it,
Yeah.
Hit song, Liv Tyler taking a shit on Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I guess that's all there is. To dive in, I just like to think about like what 1995. What were you doing in 1995?
All right.
What was in the meantime the soundtrack to in your life?
Oh.
You were probably playing football.
I was. Yeah. Let's see. 5 wouldn't have been driving yet, but Yeah, I probably would have been having a Walkman on or some type of boombox playing that song.
You were carrying a boombox on your shoulder, listening to In the Meantime.
Yeah, man. That was Run DMC made that look cool, so I was just just went with it. You know,
That's how I like to picture you in the 90s.
Yeah, with my big silver boombox with the tape deck, double tape deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had a pretty nice one. My grandma won it at a raffle and gave it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my dad yelled at me because I used to punch one of the tape decks because it wouldn't work. I can't punch expensive stuff.
But by 1995, were you still listening to tapes?
Well, I started getting CDs around then, I guess. Yeah. That might have been maybe the year before that. I got like Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic on CD.
That was the first CD that I got that had a parental advisory sticker on
Oh,
it.
yeah, me too. I think so. Yeah. Unless Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em had parental advisory.
No, it did not. It should have. That Sir Psycho Sexy.
Sir Psycho, Sir Psycho.
I think that song served as my Birds and the Bees talk. Anthony Kiedis taught me about the Birds and the Bees, about him and a lady cop.
Oh yeah, that was a graphic song for a young teen in the 90s. There, yeah. It was. I mean, the whole thing. I'm surprised my parents got it for me. Blood Sugar Sex Magic. And, yeah, sure, why not if you're 13? Yeah, that was good stuff though.
Yeah.
Too bad those guys didn't have any more hits.
Yeah. Those guys are just a 30-hit wonder.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, dude, where's your 40th hit?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Get out of here.
So.
What else? What else we got about space? There's got to be one more thing with this guy and how weird he is and how he pulled off just taking a bunch of dodo heads and making them sign to Elektra Records or wherever they were on. And
the song is great and the bass line is great. Mm-hmm. So I can't really get pissed about it, but it does piss me off that the dude seems to have paid no dues.
No, yes.
And had a hit without paying any dues. Like I played in a band for 22 years and would love one hit.
Yeah.
But this dude just got to have a hit. Like it's a good song.
But you have a whole bunch of good songs and you're still relevant and people are still into you, and they did it all at once. And once 2000 came around, it was just like, see you later, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
So, but, you know, we didn't talk about the lyrics of the song. We talked about everything else.
I don't even know can we look them up? Do you know what they are?
Well, we love the all of you. Is that how it goes? I mean, I didn't look it up. I just remember. We love the all of you, where plants are green and skies are blue. Sorry, I have a cold. I'd be able to sing it a little bit better.
Okay, we're going to see, because like on other episodes, we read some lyrics to the songs, and like Tom Cochrane, for example.
Tell me some lyrics from that song. Yeah.
From that song, it's like...
What's the breakdown?
I want to use that as an example of like, before we get into the Spacehog. Okay, Tom Cochrane, Life is a Highway lyrics, okay? Yeah. We'll look at those, and then we'll see if the Spacehog lyrics are actually good. This is, life's like a road that you travel on, when there's one day here and the next day gone. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind. There's a world outside every darkened door, where blues won't haunt you anymore. When the brave are free and lovers soar, come ride with me to the distant shore.
Wow.
Those are terrible.
That is the most undeep lyrics.
Yeah,
I've
that's
ever
what I
heard.
said about it. That's exactly what I said. It's like, this is the biggest bunch of bullshit fluff lyrics ever. And
I need something more generic. What do you got?
Okay. Can we put lovers soar? Yeah. I mean, does it rhyme? Does it rhyme with the line before?
Did you
just say line before?
Okay.
Okay. So that being said, that's what we're gonna judge the Spacehog lyrics up against.
So while you're looking that up, I in my head thinking of the lyrics is just like the meaning of it's just like everybody just come together. We're from space and we love all of you. Some type of like feeling like that, like love and peace from outer space type of thing.
So they really were Like the Spacehog thing, probably for the fact that they were so quickly signed and so quickly had a hit that they were like, well, we wrote this song and we've been writing about space.
Yeah, so just bringing the soaring love from space.
Do you want to hear some of
Earth.
these lyrics?
Yeah.
And in the end, we shall achieve in time the thing they call divine.
The thing they call divine.
And all the stars will shine for me when all is well, and well is all, forever after. Living in the meantime, wait and see.
Oh, I would have rewrote that all line, but
We love the all of you.
we love the all of you.
Where lands are green and skies are blue.
Sure are.
When all in all, we're just like you. We love the all of you.
The word all is like 88% of that chorus.
And when I cry for me, I cry for you with tears of holy joy for all the days still to come. And did I ever say I'd never play or fly toward the sun? Living in the meantime, something's gone.
Well, I wonder what that means. Those weren't too bad. I kind of like... Chris obviously didn't like them, but I like more spacey, hoggy lyrics, floating around. What's the true meaning of it?
It is hard to just read lyrics like I'm reading them without having them in the music. And sometimes like a song that is really good could come off really bad that way. I'm sure if someone read my lyrics back to me and just like read them at me, I'd be like, But that being said, these are pretty generic.
Yeah, they're pretty generic.
They're pretty like, oh yeah, that sounds good. That's fine.
I'd rarely listened to like lyric meaning back in those days, though. Like,
Yeah.
more, I do way more now than I did back then. It was just more about the feel and you know, could I ride down a hill on a skateboard listening to it and feel cool? So yeah, why not? Yeah, it's
Right.
good bass line. Mainly the bass line rocks that song.
The bass line makes up for the lyrics for sure. The lyrics I would not rate very highly.
Okay, so let's rate the lyrics from 1 to 10, the bass line, and then the rest of the song.
Well, okay, the lyrics I give about a 2.5 out of 10.
I could, with the meaning of they want to bring love, which, oh man, we really need that nowadays. We should, I hope some other bands, rock and roll bands, start singing about, hey, let's all just have a good time and love each other. But I'll give it a 3.2.
Okay.
A little bit above yours, but
All right.
yeah,
I mean, the bass line's a 10.
it's a 10 because it's unique. That's what brings it up above a 9, because it would definitely be a 9, but because it's so identifiable and unique, and it's difficult to play while singing at the same time, let alone, I mean, I've never tried to play it, but difficult to play just sounds like it, technically.
Right.
So, 10.
I
Why
mean,
not?
I think the only other bass line of the 90s that I think compares is Red Hot Chili Peppers' Soul to Squeeze.
I was just talking about that because I was looking at that bass over there.
Yeah.
And I was like, that'd be the perfect song to play on that bass.
Oh,
that
I
acoustic bass.
believe me, I've learned Soul to Squeeze on bass. Sick. Yeah, so
Yeah.
good. Boom, dun, 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 dun. So good.
Oh, what was that song written for?
Coneheads.
Coneheads. The greatest movie of all time.
Yeah.
With the greatest soundtrack song of all time.
Yeah, it really is. Really,
What the hell did that have to do with the Coneheads?
the Coneheads were.
Was there souls in their cone heads?
don't
They
know.
squeezed them out of them
I
like
guess.
toothpaste?
I guess. But okay, so we're giving the bass line a 10.
10.
I give the melody. I mean the
Falsetto. Falsetto's a
good.
solid 8.
Yeah, that's good.
And the rest of the guitar and everything, I give that all a solid 8 as well.
Yeah.
I think yeah.
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 It's definitely good.
Humankind. KOK. Yeah, and that funky little whatever that is there It's not okay. Yeah, that's fun too. The whole thing's fun. It's just a good song. I'm glad we're talking about it.
Yeah. Spacehog, if you're out there listening, I'm sure you are, because this is probably the only podcast ever about you guys.
Doesn't Marin have a separate Spacehog podcast altogether?
Yeah. But Spacehog, if you're listening, your song is good.
It's really good.
The rest of your songs sound pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
You achieved success way too fast. It's totally unfair.
Yeah.
You did not pay your dues, and it's probably why you went up and down so fast. But mad respect for the bass line.
Oh yeah, that bass line got him Liv Tyler. That's all. That's all we need to say about that.
Liv heard that bass line and was like, "Well."
She was like, "Ooh, ooh."
Well, that's actually how she got pregnant. she just heard the bass line and just got
that
pregnant.
bass line got her pregnant.
That was the what's it called in the Bible? The immaculate
conception.
That was the immaculate conception too. Liv Tyler heard that bass line.
Boo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo. Yeah. Oh, I just felt something kick.
So yeah, Spacehog, we know you're listening.
Roy, if you're out there, nice song, man, and way to get your brother involved, and way to get everybody together and shoot right to the top real quick.
Yeah. And what else would I say? Oh, we have to say whether the song was a one-hit blunder or one-hit thunder. I'm gonna go with the thunder. I think this is definitely thunder because the other music is pretty good too. From what I've heard,
I still hear it every once in a while. Out on the radio, wherever, you know.
Yeah.
I don't go a year without hearing it, without putting it on myself. So it's always out there somewhere. So it's a good song, and it's still floating around there.
It's crazy how a good song, like, I mean, it can just be part of your life forever if it's a good enough song.
Yep.
Like, you know, for example, Tom Cochran, Life is a Highway is unfortunately part of my life but just like whether I want it to be or not, it just is because it's out there.
It is.
And whereas Spacehog, in the meantime, like, I'm a little happier that it's part, and it's not even as part of my life. It's not as common. It's a one hit, but it's kind of a minor hit.
Yeah.
But it is considered a hit.
Yep.
And a one hit, and I would consider it a one hit thunder.
I would say thunder all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would get happy if we were at your Halloween party a couple weeks ago and we were dancing, that song came out. I'd have made sure we all went through the floor down into the basement. We'd have collapsed that dance floor, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just on the falsetto alone, you know, and
You know
just
what?
make the hardwood crack and just everybody just cave in. And
I would have been a little bit afraid. That we wouldn't have made it through the whole song. I would have thought that, like, we'd have got to the ooze, we would have been slamming, then the bass line, we would have rocked out.
Oh, yeah.
Then once the verses came in, I kind of feel like we would have been like,
oh, yeah.
next. Put on Jason Derulo.
Yeah. That reminds me of the time you and I we were really in the karaoke a while back, and we decided to do Sum 41. And what was the song?
Fat Lip?
Yeah. Yeah. And then we realized that we don't know the rap part, which is most of the song at all.
What the?
And we just went, and then did the chorus.
Yeah.
Looked like idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you know what our hit? We did have a karaoke group, Where the Boys Are.
Mm-hmm.
We would go to this bar in our hometown, and on Thursday nights, and we would always do Starship.
Mm-hmm.
We built this city. That was like our...
We built this city.
Yeah.
Yep. That was our one hit.
Yeah.
That was our thunder
Yeah.
at the local bar that we were at.
Right.
And we became famous and even put out a video.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the famous part again, but the video is real.
Yeah.
Made in the mall. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I wasn't in it, though. 2/3 of Where the Boys Are missing because you were out on tour.
Yeah. Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
We were at the Mall of America. Me and PJ went into a karaoke booth where you went in, you picked the song, you paid, and then you got a VHS of your performance. And then So we got the VHS of the performance, and we mail it to you?
Yeah, you
in an
mailed me a
unmarked
VHS,
package?
yes. And I got it in the mail, and I opened it up, and it was a blank VHS.
Oh, God.
And I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, is somebody going to blackmail me for something?
Wow.
And then I put it in, and it was you two in front of a green screen running in place singing, "We Built This City." And I was like, whoo!
That would be scary to get an unmarked
Yeah.
VHS tape in the mail.
Especially with no heads up. You're just like, what?
Wow.
And it was like postmarked from like Minnesota or whatever.
Yeah.
The Mall of America is or whatever.
Wow. That's pretty cool we did that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for making me almost crap my pants for 5 minutes while I'm trying to find a VCR that works.
Find a VCR that works in like 2004.
Yeah. I think I had a TV VCR DVD combo in a closet I had
nice.
to whip out real quick. Yeah. That brought me a lot of joy though, and that was our one hit, so that's why we talked about it.
Cool, man.
Yep.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on the podcast and talking about Spacehog.
Oh, absolutely. man.
We
This
have
is
a
lot of
band
fun.
together.
Yeah.
Called Another Cheetah, and maybe we could play another Cheetah song at the end of this episode.
Yeah, sure.
And I think Another Cheetah has already been together longer than Spacehog was before they had a mega hit. So
Yeah, we're just finishing up our rookie year. I think we're doing pretty good. We'll see see if we can get signed to Elektra in a couple months.
Yeah. We'll see if this song that we play right now can be a #1 hit by Christmas time.
Since Thanksgiving's next week,
Yeah.
all we need to do is write something with hey, you play bass, man. It's up to you.
Yeah. Sick bass line.
Yeah, sick bass line is where it starts.
Yep. All right, cool, man.
Yep. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I really like talking about Spacehog and Liv Tyler and Todd Rundgren.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What up, guys? Chris, Matt, I cannot believe that you had this podcast about Spacehog and you didn't bring me on to be the guest and talk a little bit more about it. But fortunately, I could call in and leave this message for you to tell you exactly what I think about it. First of all, I wanted to thank you both for the Tom Cochran Life as a Highway bonus episode. I didn't realize that there was so much content that wasn't covered the first time and to spill over into Spacehog's time. But yeah, I just wanted to clear up a couple of things from what I'd heard on this, things I think the listeners might care about. Number one, the thing I've heard you guys railing so much about was how this band came out of relative obscurity, killing rats in the kitchen or whatnot, to the top of the charts, which is all true. But what you didn't mention was that Sire Records and where they were at, which was also part of Elektra, a big major label at the time, they were signed by the legendary Seymour Stein, who only signed a couple of small acts in his lifetime, known as the Talking Heads, the Ramones, the Pretenders, and of course, Madonna. So I'm pretty sure he had a little of juice to get Spacehog and their amazing song in the meantime anywhere that thing needed to be. And I think he made it happen. Another thing I was thinking about, that these guys, the brothers, Royston and Anthony Langdon, they fought all the time, from what I read, as if they were trying to be Oasis. But I think in the mid-'90s, they were probably the fourth most famous band of feuding brothers. Oh, and the other thing I was thinking about is, as you were talking about the different albums that they had, one thing you referred to, which is the Hoggassy. That was originally titled 2001, A Space Hoggassy, where on that album is their glam version of the Also Sprach Zerrissa, or however you say that, the theme that everybody knows from 2001 is on that. And it wasn't actually until 2 years after that album came out that Royston and Liv Tyler got together. So maybe, that song that she heard back in the 90s was planting the seed, and it only took a matter of time, but it was about 8 years after that came out that those two got together. So who really knows? Yeah, man, that's about it. I mean, I think you did a good job. You obviously said one hit thunder, so how could you complain with that? Because that's clearly the case. I did want to clarify to you guys that, yes, I did have a Spacehog license plate. It was when I lived in North Carolina, because, yes, you could have 8 letters and it could actually say Spacehog. Whereas when I lived in Pennsylvania, I thought long and hard about what I would do for the 7 letters, but ultimately decided that anything that wasn't fully Spacehog wasn't going to do it justice, and no one would know what the heck it was. So that's where it was. Thanks again for taking the time to listen to me. We're here getting the facts straight. Love the pod. Glad it's part of it. Spacehog forever. See you guys.
This has been One Hit Thunder. One Hit Thunder is produced by Matt Kelly as part of the Geekscape Network and hosted by Chris Fafalius of the band Punchline, as well as Pack and Another Cheetah. You can hear Another Cheetah song Should Have Known underneath me right now. Punchline will be playing Anti-Fest on March 28th in Pittsburgh, featuring Anti-Flag, The Suicide Machines, and many other great bands. Visit punchlion.com for tickets, as well as news, merch, and other upcoming tour dates. Let us know your thoughts on the show by emailing us at onehitthunderpodcast@gmail.com, tweeting at us at onehitthunderpod, that's the number 1, visiting our Facebook group One Hit Thunder, or following our Instagram at One Hit Thunder Podcast. All the links to our social media are available in the show notes. And make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting app. We'll be back next week with another episode of One Hit Thunder.
Hey there, I am Johnny Christ from Avenged Sevenfold, and I've got a podcast called Drinks with Johnny you're going to want to check out. I sit down with a bunch of different people from all different walks of life, from professional wrestlers to actors, comedians, fighters, musicians, everything in between. I'm just looking to make some friends and have a good time doing it. So if that sounds like something you're into, go check out Drinks with Johnny, streaming everywhere now.